All right, going live quickly and bigly again here. Hey, asshole, just wanted your input on Texas. I currently live in California, and the girlfriend and I made a plan. Then in a couple of years, we would go out and live in Texas. Now she is from Texas. Why you wait? Just go now. Dude, there's not going to be a better time, man. Just everyone's so desperate for people to show up on time and do basic jobs. They're paying $15 an hour. Just go. Leave California now. Now. Go. Do it now. How much more other human feces? Like, is that a fun game you all do? Let's skip over human feces. Is like hopscotch, but there's a human turd. Some Democrat dropped trowel and dropped the turd right there. Let's jump over the Democrat turd. No, she wants to be near her family, which is in southern Texas. The FFL want to live in the same town as them. So that being said, it's either San Antonio or Austin, as they are a 2 to 3 hour drive from her family. I ruled out Houston due to high crime and gang activity there, and Dallas because it's way too far for a drivable distance to visit her family. I heard Austin has more nature around it, and it's got trees, which I do like, although it's full of liberal morons. He didn't use morons. He used the R word, which is more descriptive, and insult to people who are the actual R word. I've lived around them and handled them here in California, so more or less I've learned to avoid them. On top of that, I know Austin has a higher housing market. From where I live in Cali, it's just not that surprising, but to others, I can see how it seems crazy expensive. Just so you know, I will be a realtor out here. That means Austin high-priced homes and Texas tax sounds good to me. As for San Antonio, I heard it's more laid back, but small, big but small feeling. Yeah, conservative. A lot of Mexican culture and around 300,000 housing range. I'm not sure what there is to do as far as nature. They well, they got the river walk, and I'll tell you this is in general in Texas, it's better than Kansas. All right, it's better than the flat plain states because you go far enough west, you get some desert and some generally hilly kind of mountainy area. Center is brush and trees with a little water, and then you get a little bit more east. Now you're Louisiana. Warmer, humid. I know I like tornado chasing out here. So you got to drive to get there, but it's not like you got the Colorado Rockies or the forever deserts of Arizona or the bayous of Louisiana. It's an okay place. There's parks and trails and trees, but there ain't no thick forests. There's the Guadalupe Mountains, but those are way off on the west, and those aren't that tall either. So it ain't no California. I'll tell you that one. The only good thing about California is it's physically beautiful. But that's one reason I never really considered Texas. I'm like, it's all right. I mean, it's nice to ride motorcycle through. That's beautiful for that. But I don't know. It's just kind of a drier Wisconsin if you've ever been to Wisconsin. Anyways, Cappy. Yeah, so I didn't mind San Antonio. It's all right. Anyways, Cappy, what metro area do you prefer and think is better? Suggestions are welcome, although I do want a metro area. I want a good quality of life and a nice environment. Just so you know, later this year I'll be going to visit. But for now, your input is much appreciated. Thanks, Cappy. Let me know how much for a video or email. All right. Now, I told you this, okay, so we're going to rely on the audience a little bit more. So please read through the comment section below. I have limited experience in Texas. I've driven through it a couple times, visited a couple places. And out of San Antonio and Austin, I would absolutely pick San Antonio. All right, warmer. It's not as leftist. It's a more than adequate city. It's growing. It's perfectly fine. I didn't mind Houston. Maybe that's too far south. Maybe you don't like it. The traffic was nuts. I wouldn't bother with Houston, though, on that. And I would not do Austin. I mean, you might because you can handle California. I mean, obviously, the answer is get boots on the ground, scope out both to see what you like. And, it could be in your best interest because with Austin, you could live out in the burbs where there aren't any leftist Marxist parasites. It's just, keep Austin weird. Oh, you got to keep that racket up. You've been keeping Austin weird since you were in your 20s, and now you're 45. What the hell? Ooh, do you have the South by Southwest thing? Oh, so Coachella. So cool. But you can avoid that, and that's I guarantee you there's a leftist part to San Antonio. there's, any major town's going to have leftists. So just avoid where the Democrats poop in the street and you'll be okay. And so being purely opportunistic, I'm not ruling out Austin for you. I'm just saying the politics suck. But if I had to choose between the two, I'd do San Antonio. Absolutely. And then, but you're going to have to get boots on the ground. Now, the other thing you may want to consider about that area, because I don't know where exactly she lives. One thing I did notice about Texas, which I don't think a lot of other states have, or certainly haven't noticed it, Texas has a lot of medium-sized towns. So why does Texas all have so many electoral votes? Well, it's not just the 3-4 big towns they got, but they got a lot of medium-sized towns where it's very common to pull up on a 100,000 population out in the middle of nowhere. And that was kind of weird because I'm very used to the Midwest where it was a major town and then piddly town, piddly town, piddly town until you got to the next major town. And that meant the other state, Milwaukee, Sioux Falls, Des Moines. But that's more the I believe, farming nature of that area. I don't know if it's because of the oil or livestock or what, but there are sizable towns everywhere. Not big towns, but sizable towns. Midland, Amarillo, Van Horn, what is it, Wallen something? Some place out to the east. So it kind of, I know that's not going to be good for your realty career, but when it comes to like positioning yourself so you're close enough to your girlfriend but not near the family, maybe that's some might want to consider as well. But you're probably going to have to stick with a major metro if you want to become a realtor. But yeah, otherwise I did like, if I had to choose, I would absolutely go with San Antonio. The downtown is cool. The people there are good looking. I'm just going to assume with Austin being leftist, it's just going to be a bunch of fat, ooh, look at us, we're behind enemy territory. Oh, I have my pink hair. I'm so cool. I just don't have the patience for that. Yeah, and then I guess Dallas is too far north for you. But I would, for people down who are actually from Texas, I'd recommend that you read and see what they say in the comments section below. But I will tell you this, just come on out first and scope out both towns. Spend like a week in both areas. And then you'll probably have a much, especially if you're a realtor, you're going to have an eye for things like, oh yeah, that's not, there's blight, or that's not a good bus system, or they don't have, the highways aren't made well here, and just so you know, Texas is absolutely the worst state for drivers in terms of large states. Nebraska, but that ain't it's a big state in terms of population. They don't know how to drive here. They're all a bunch of hoo-dang-diggly-danglies with their pickup trucks. No one knows how to drive. No one. So be very careful. I know you think Californians don't know how to drive. Well, they just drive slow because they're always used to being in traffic. Texans, they do not know. They're either going 10 miles an hour or 90 miles an hour. They just do not know how to drive here. So please be very careful. And absolutely get car insurance because Jessup, he's got to make it to the cowpoke or whatever they're doing down here. All right. Is that it? Scrolling down for the super chats. No super chats. Boom. All right. See you guys later. Toodles.